Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve mankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus we covenant with each other and with God. Words of L. Griswold Williams. And in the words of Richard S. Gilbert, we bid you welcome. We bid you welcome who come with weary spirits seeking rest, who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come hurt and afraid. We bid you welcome who come with hope in your heart, who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous. We bid you welcome who are seekers of a new faith, who come to probe and to explore, who come to learn. We bid you welcome who enter this place as a homecoming, who have found here room for your spirit, who find in this people a family. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome. And welcome indeed to our service on this bright summer Sunday. Welcome to our visitors. Welcome particularly to the Unitarian UK TV team. And through the work of the TV team, welcome to all who have chosen to watch this act of worship. Let us sing together whilst remaining seated. Number 18 in the Green Book, We Gather Together. Number 18. We meet for worship in a world of wonder and plenty, but a world long shadowed by the folly and wickedness of our kind. May our worship and our prayer not forget the shadow, but by the power of the Spirit rise above it to bring peace and hope to our lives and the lives of the world. And now will those who wish to please join me in saying together the words of the Lord's Prayer in its traditional form. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. About 20 years ago, the Reverend Andrew Hill, a Unitarian minister, wrote a little book with the title The Unitarian Path. Leslie will now read a passage from this book the Unitarian path in one paragraph. Leslie.
The Unitarian path in one paragraph. The Unitarian path combines personal freedom in religious faith with mutual, interdependent, and supportive community. It prefers reflective thinking to rigid believing. Emerging from the Jewish and Christian faiths, it is fiercely loyal to Jesus and his teaching that we should love both God and our neighbours as ourselves. This has brought Unitarians to a grateful recognition that their neighbours may be of other faith or different values, and may draw upon alternative resources of faith and strength. Unitarian religion is more earthy and practical than heavenly and passive. It maintains an ongoing conversation of mind and body, defining, refining, and incarnating those qualities of life, growth, and love which make for a better world.
Thank you, Leslie. Let's now stand to sing number 177, Community Supporting Friends. Number 177. The Reverend Gabor Kereki was born in Hungary in 1914 and was a Unitarian minister in Budapest from 1935 to 1947, when he was able to leave for London. He became recognized as a Unitarian minister in the United Kingdom and served at Tenterden and at Northiam in Kent from 1949 to 1961 and at Croydon from 1961 to 84. He died in 1995. In 1967, Gabor Kereki wrote a piece that we're now going to hear, which he titled Personal Privilege, Personal Responsibility. And Kath will read it for us now.
Personal privilege, personal responsibility. A Unitarian church is an association of individuals who wish to search for the meaning of life in freedom. It is a fellowship in which individual opinions are freely expressed, personal convictions mutually respected, and responsibilities fully shared. A Unitarian church is a community of people who have a great and sincere regard for the dignity of humanity. It is a fellowship of those who believe that truth may be found by all individuals, and therefore it should not be regarded as the property of ecclesiastical institutions. A Unitarian church represents many shades of opinion, many sincerely held personal beliefs, many diverse convictions. It is a fellowship of those who are sincerely religious because they can be sincere to themselves and to their fellow men and women. A Unitarian church is a spiritual home for those who believe that sincere doubt is the touchstone of truth, the way to all discovery the crucial test of all beliefs. It is a fellowship in which men and women can be honest to God and to themselves. A Unitarian church is a body of people who govern themselves according to democratic principles. It is a fellowship of people who know that creative ideas can grow only in an atmosphere of freedom. It is a personal privilege to belong to such a religious fellowship. And since it is a personal privilege enjoyed, it involves us all in a personal responsibility to treasure the freedom of our fellowship and to preserve it, to share it with all who come into it, and to extend its sphere of influence over the life of our community. Gabor Koreki.
Thank you, Kath. Also, from Andrew Hill's little book, The Unitarian Path, 3 signposts, 3 tracks, which Jeremy will read for us.
Three signposts, 3 tracks. Over 4 centuries, 3 signposts have marked the Unitarian path where Michael Servetus, Faustus Licinius, and Francis David were early travellers. First, a critical approach, which appreciates the place of reason, human thought, and the right to think for oneself. Secondly, a questioning attitude about certain Christian doctrines. In particular, 1, the notion that God favours some with salvation and condemns others to perdition. The Unitarian path has responded, saying that God's love is available to all and that no one is condemned to perdition. 2, the notion that individual men and women are permanently depraved and are totally dependent upon Christ's atonement for their redemption. The Unitarian path has responded, saying that people are basically humane, and that human effort is a welcome contribution towards the quality of life. 3, the notion that God is a trinity of co-equal, consubstantial, and co-eternal persons. The Unitarian path has responded by indicating God's oneness and God's participation in the whole of creation. From this particular response came the Unitarian name. Thirdly, the right of private judgment and the necessity for personal integrity have been strongly upheld in the face of imposed creeds and confessions of faith. These signposts pointed to a wide diversity among those who travel the Unitarian path today. Within this diversity, 3 well-trodden tracks are discernible. 1, a Unitarian, i.e. non-Trinitarian, and liberal Christian track, which values its relationship with the Judeo-Christian highway. 2, a theistic track, which recognizes that beyond the many human expressions of religious faith, there is a common creative source to which, in different ways, they all witness. 3, a humanist track, which centers religious faith in the here and now and in the knowable. No one track excludes another. There are many crossover points between them. They are merely representative and illustrative. One Unitarian community may travel mostly on one track and another one on another. Another community may travel several tracks. But in no Unitarian community ought anyone to be excluded because his or her preferred track is a minority choice. Reverend Andrew Hill.
Thank you, Jeremy. Now let's sing again. This time, number 112, Sing We of the Golden City. 212. Our meditation today is based on a passage from Nature by Ralph Waldo Emerson, the 19th century American Unitarian preacher and writer, one of the founders of the Transcendentalist movement. The passage reads, "In the wood, a man casts off his years as the snake his skin, and at whatever period of life he is always a child. In the woods, we return to reason and faith. There I feel that nothing can befall me in life, no disgrace, no calamity, which nature cannot repair. Standing on bare ground, my head bathed in the blithe air and uplifted into infinite space, all mean egotism vanishes. I become a transparent eyeball. I am nothing. I see all. The currents of the universal being circulate through me. I am part of the particle of God." Let us join now in meditation and reflection. Let us be still. Close our eyes. Relax our bodies. And be aware of our hearts beating. This meditation takes into a wood. Choose a wood that is familiar to you, a real wood, one that you know well, maybe a wood that you knew as a child. See the wood far off in the distance, and note the outline that it makes against the sky. It is gradually getting bigger as you approach it. Enter the wood. There is a path through the trees. Go in and follow the path, deeper and deeper into the wood. Look at the trees. What is your first impression? Are they the smooth grey trunks of beech trees? Or are they the towering straight trunks of pines and cedars? Look up through the branches to the sky above. Look at one particular tree. See the bark. Follow its patterns. Feel its texture. Look at the leaves. Take one leaf and look at it closely. Look between the trees. What's growing there? What flowers can you see? What can you hear? Birds, insects, the sighing of the wind in the leaves. What can you smell? Let us reflect on our woodland scene, accompanied by some appropriate music. In the words of Emerson, a woodland is a holy place where we can lose our mean and petty selves and find God again. I become a transparent eyeball. I am nothing. I see. The currents of the universal being circulate through me. I am part of the particle of God. Let's sing now. 173. The church is not where altar stands. Hymn number 173. The recording of this service for people to watch and listen to via the internet presents an opportunity for so many others to share in our act of worship. It's also a chance for people who don't know much about our Unitarian movement to find out more about us. And this is why today I'm talking particularly about what British Unitarians are and what they do. It's an appropriate coincidence that our date of recording, the 29th of June 2014, is also our General Assembly Sunday, when we acknowledge the work of our General Assembly of Unitarian and Free Christian Churches. In the course of my life as a Unitarian and as a minister, I've often been asked questions like, can you explain in a short and simple way what it means to be Unitarian? Or, tell me, what do Unitarians believe? I think most of us must have been unexpectedly challenged when we've been asked such questions by a visitor to our congregation, by someone who is looking in at us from the outside, from outside our Unitarian community. And it doesn't really matter whether they're asking because they think they might join our congregation and become one of us, or because they're just curious. And yes, we do, of course, have a need to grow our congregations and to find new people to become members to ensure that our movement has a future. And we don't want to put people off just because we can't find the words to explain ourselves in a full, though simple way, rather than through using the technical language of academic theology. Part of the problem might be that Unitarianism has a complex history and has often been explained in such complex and rather dull language. Such a lot of explanation seems to be about what we don't believe, and that leaves so many gaps and always sounds so very negative. We don't believe that the Christian doctrine of the Holy Trinity is true to Scripture. We don't believe that every child is born burdened with the sin of mankind's earliest days. We don't. We don't. We don't. Visitors and potential newcomers will be hearing only half the story if this were to be the only way we were able to find to answer their questions. And we wouldn't come over as the positive and vibrant faith community that we are. There's really quite a lot that we can and should say that is so positive, and surely it's always possible to start simply and add more layers of explanation, perhaps by recommending reading material over time. That's usually the best way to learn. Years ago, our Friday night alternative worship and conversation group here in Evesham created a short statement which they titled, "What is Unitarianism?" It reads, "Unitarianism is a liberal religious movement open to insights from all the world's religions as well as literature, art, music, science, philosophy, and nature. It is rooted in the Jewish and Christian traditions, but has broadened to include a range of religious expression extending from liberal Christianity to universalism in the sense of an all-faiths approach to religion and spiritual practice, and to humanism." A positive statement, surely, and one that encompasses the wide range of belief held within contemporary Unitarian congregations. The statement goes on. Unitarians believe that no religion holds a monopoly on truth. They encourage people to seek their own truth and explore the limits of their own belief. They endeavour to meet the spiritual needs of individuals in the context of a loving community and encourage the fulfilment of all human potential. This second paragraph expresses some ideas of what Unitarians seek to do as they practice and express their faith in their daily lives. But all this might give the impression that we are some kind of modern-day religious sect or cult, and not the long-established movement with a well-recorded history, as we are. So a third and final paragraph was added, as follows. Unitarianism began as a Christian heresy emphasizing the oneness of God. It was part of post-Reformation rational dissent. But now it highlights being a religious movement without a creed as its defining characteristic. The early Unitarians were regarded as heretics by those we now refer to as the mainstream Christian churches. This was because they refused to accept the doctrine of the Holy Trinity, which was not part of early Christian thought and isn't mentioned in the Bible, but was developed several centuries after the death of Jesus. But though the early Unitarians were not regarded as proper Christians by the Trinitarian churches, they themselves always believed that they were Christians, even that they were truer Christians, truer to the simple teachings of Jesus than those who'd gone down the Trinitarian route. The debate within the Unitarian movement as to whether or not Unitarians are indeed Christians has periodically surfaced, gone round in circles, and died away many times over many years. I believe it's quite a healthy debate because it reminds us of our diversity and the common values that always do hold us together. But not even when practically everyone in Britain regarded themselves as Christian did Unitarian congregations require a statement of faith from their members. What's changed is that many people in this country no longer feel that Christianity, even liberal Christianity, is their faith. And Unitarianism has been, perhaps uniquely, in a position to respond to that change, as well as to so many other changes that have taken place within our society in the last century or so. Today, it's likely that most British Unitarians still do regard themselves as liberal Christians. The point is that they are not the only kind of British Unitarian. Those worshipping in Unitarian congregations may come from a variety of faith backgrounds. Some may not even feel that they are, as individuals, Unitarian, but they may be on a journey of faith that will take them through the ideas of Unitarianism and perhaps on to something else. Yet for the course of this part of their journey, they can comfortably worship with us. Such is the nature and the openness of our eclectic movement. Others, on the other hand, may have always regarded themselves quite simply as Unitarian. But for everyone, a Unitarian community provides an open-minded space to reflect upon their faith and spirituality. Regardless of this openness and the complexity of the mosaic of Unitarian belief, I believe that we do have at our disposal the words we need to describe who we are in both a positive and straightforward way. For me, that Friday Light statement does it quite well, and I'll repeat it. Unitarianism is a liberal religious movement, open to insights from all the world's religions, as well as literature, art, music, science, philosophy, and nature. It is rooted in the Jewish and Christian traditions, but has broadened to include a range of religious expression extending from liberal Christianity to universalism in the sense of an all-faiths approach to religion and spiritual practice, and to humanism. Unitarians believe that no religion holds a monopoly on truth. They encourage people to speak their own truth and explore the limits of their own belief. They endeavour to meet the spiritual needs of individuals in the context of a loving community and encourage the fulfilment of all human potential. Unitarianism began as a Christian heresy emphasizing the oneness of God. It was part of post-Reformation rational dissent. But now it highlights being a religious movement without a creed as its defining characteristic. Like I say, for me it does it quite well, but it's not the only way. Other statements will no doubt also do a good job. So let's use them and let people know who we are. And thank you for listening. Our closing hymn, during which we'll take our collection, is number 233, A Fire Mist and a Planet. Number 233. May ours be a religion which, like sunshine, goes everywhere. Its temple all space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love, its profession of faith divine living. May this be our religion. Amen.